Coming up, we're going to share with you the biggest mistake that you app creators make when developing your app. Stay tuned. What is up, App Nation? It is Steve P. Young, founder of appmasters.com. Once again, we're going to talk about scope creep and how do you avoid it. It is one of the most common things that Haim and his team has seen, and something definitely that I have seen on my end. And so we're going to talk about all the key factors that you need to apply to make sure you avoid scope creep. Scope creep, all it does is prolong the launch of your app, prolong you getting data for your app as well. Joining me, as always, to break it all down when it comes to app development, it is the guy I know and trust and the company that I send a lot of clients to. It is Haim from B7Dev, the letter B, the number 7 dev.com. Haim, welcome back.
Hey, Steve, how are you? This is what happens when you have everything planned, okay, as we always insist. You have everything documented and you start development and you send the first version to the customer, or if in the case that you are managing the project for yourself, you start to see and to get excited about the development, which is great, and everyone is happy and is like a baby. You are seeing how it gets bigger and bigger. So then someone, maybe the customer, maybe the developer, maybe a friend that you show to him the progress, or maybe your father, your mother, and I don't know, anyone is coming with the magical idea of this is really cool. Do you know what will be making this perfect? This feature. Okay, so you come back excited, okay? Or those features, I mean, not just one, to make it better. My customers used to hate me about this because I tell, do you know what? If we add more tasks, first of all, it will be more expensive to develop. But if we keep adding more stuff to this, we will never end the first version or the second version and the current version that we supposed to deliver. Okay, so this is this effect of getting delayed after the completion date, the timeline that we took so much pain to plan everything. Okay, we will never get on time because we are falling into what is called the scope creep. The scope creep is the creep between the time that they planned originally and the completion. There is another factor for scope creep, that is bad development, a lot of technical difficulties, but usually this could be fixed with getting people to help, external help. Okay, two heads think better than one, so let's fix this. Okay, the other thing that the customers usually they are not happy up to they understand is that they say, do you know what, let's just stick to the timeline, the original timeline, and then we will deliver the first version. I always compare this to a ladder. Okay, a ladder, in order to go up, you need to step on one solid step. This is the first version. Even if this version is stripped down from all the whistle and bells, it's okay. You have something that you can show. You have something that you can test. You have something that you can show to investors, to potential customers, even to users. Okay, so they will tell you, I will like to add this and this and that. You prepare a new batch of features, and then you add to a second version. But the first version, that should be go out as fast as possible. Okay, because otherwise the scope creep, trust me, I was in a lot of projects when the scope creep just kill the project. At some point, it's like a plane. The customer runs out of money. They says, okay, I added so much that I don't have any more money for marketing, for finishing the app, etc., etc. I was like 2-3 years with a system, okay, because I added more and more features. It's a different story from the psychological angle. A lot of developers, they think that their app is not enough for the market. So they keep adding and adding and adding instead of, like a lot of people that I recommend also to talk with Steve. Steve will tell, don't add more features. Let's work on the paywall. Let's work on tracking what the users are doing. Let's work on marketing, etc., etc. So in order to, what we do to keep up with the scheduled dates, first of all, as we talked on the last video, communication is key. If you feel from the developers should be telling you, look, this is taking more time than usual. Or if we add this feature, we will take 2 more weeks, 1 more weeks, 1 month. Okay, talk with the customer or talk with them. If you are the customer yourself, you're managing this by yourself, just okay, it's convenient to add this is really convenient, this is really vital for the app to be out there, or we can wait for the second version, okay, for the next version, and we get more money, more time to test it, etc. So communication is key. If you don't talk after the app is supposedly finished, you will never know if we are okay on time or if the app works in the way that you intended. So you need to be communicated with them all the time. Search for companies or developers or designers that they are very communicative, because you need to being kept updated all the time, okay, about the status. This is really big important. A second point that I always recommend is something that is kind of harsh, but you need to do it. Set a deadline. We need to release the app by this date. So if you know that you have this time limit, the deadline, you won't be so prone to add more things here and more things there, more features. Okay, so a deadline for any project is really important. Okay, you need to, by any means, go out by this date. Set a date, maximum move 1 week more, 1 week less, but don't more than that, in order to keep tight with the schedule, with the times, with the marketing, etc., etc. Okay, set a deadline and tell everyone, people, this is the deadline. We cannot be moving farther than this. The number three is try to talk in the beginning. Okay, developers, designers, customer, do you foresee any problem? Put from your own experience. For example, I always tell to them, you know what, if you do this is what it will be happening from the clinical side. You will have a lot of service usage. You will need to get more servers. If you do this, you will have a lot of processing. If you do this for this feature, we will have a problem later when we try to, I don't know, to retrieve data, you name it. Maybe even legal issues. If we are using this content, do we have the rights for the content? Because on paper, everything works, but the experience, real world experience, brings a lot of different points of view. So talk with everyone at the beginning, tell them we have this deadline, okay, we cannot move from here, from this date of delivery, plus foresee problems. Okay, what are the problems that you understand that could happen? Okay, let's work on this, and then maybe we need to move the deadline, or we need to look for alternatives in order to solve those problems before they actually happen. Work with communicative, very communicative people. Okay, the more that they communicate, the better. This way, you will be avoiding scope creep. That is the biggest mistake that I see in projects when they planning. Okay, even killing the projects because you run dry out of time, money, or opportunities, because sometimes investors are waiting for you, but if it takes so long, they just move to the next thing. Okay, so that is my take, at least based on my experience, on avoiding the scope creep.
And Chaim, one thing I would recommend is the way I like to think about it is if you're launching a brand new app and the feedback that you get from like maybe a friend or a father, back to the example you use, you want to get feedback from paying customers. That means more to me than getting feedback from free customers, because paying customers obviously have trusted you enough to give you money. And so their feedback and their feature requests mean a lot more for me. So what we suggest is, as a brand new app, if you're a subscription based app, test a hard paywall, which means there's no free content. Free to download, but once you hit the app, you have some onboarding screens, and then you either pay or get out of the app. And that's what we suggest, because then you get those initial paying customers. So that's a marketing problem. Like, really focus on your trial activations during that entire process. Now, if people are activating a trial and less than 30% are now not paying you, right? So they're canceling their trials, then you have a product problem. So if we see anywhere from like 20%, we see like a 10% trial activation from install, like that's really solid. You want to be around 5 to 10%. Now, if we see a 20% trial to actual paying customer, then we know we have a product problem. Our product is not sticky enough. People are activating in trial because they're interested, but they're not sticking around long enough because there's a product problem. And that's how you scientifically figure out what features you need to build if you need to improve the product. So if you're getting 10% conversions or 88% trial activations, and you're getting 30, 35 trial to paying customers, you got to break product. focus more on marketing, get more downloads. That's how you're going to make more money. Jaime, anything else you want to add?
For doing that, again, you need a first version. So it's very important to get the first version done on time so you can apply that idea.
Once again, it is b7dev.com. All the links are in your favorite podcast app or the description of this YouTube video. Go check him out. Jaime and his team, I've been working with him since 2013, I believe. And so I really trust him. Been a long friendship and partnership so far. b7dev.com if you're looking for an app development firm to help you plan out the entire project, avoid scope creep, and then finally launch your first version. All right, join us next time where we're going to talk all about all the features you really need before launching your app. These better be in your product definition. All right, stay tuned, and I'll see you on the next video.